Hey everybody, welcome to Raising Vibrations, and you're with Simon today. Hope you're well. So I decided to do or talk about an astrology update, give us a little bit of context to maybe what's going on from a place of evolutionary development, and just sharing what I've observed in clients that I've worked with recently. Sharing with what I've experienced in my own personal life around what types of energies are taking place, and hopefully leaving you with something to work with leading up to this new moon solar eclipse that's going to be happening in Leo on the 11th of August, which is, what's that, like 7 days away? So, as we know, Uranus is going to be going retrograde. And this is a big deal for us because, of course, Uranus is the archetype that helps us change the patterns, okay, in the way that we interact with life. It asks us to feel into where there is frustration, where there is a sense of limitation, where you might feel that you're being blocked, and to see if you can approach the situation from a different angle, and hopefully through that allow for a breakthrough to take place. Okay, it's actually holding space essentially for the Uranian field to take place. Now, it's not just straightforward with Uranus retrograde. It's not just like or Uranus as an archetype in itself. The energy of Uranus, it's a mutative energy. So there is a pulse that happens with Uranus that opens us up to different dimensions in which those patterns of awareness operate at, okay? And this is one of the reasons why I actually chose this picture today. And it really caught my eye, not only because of the coloring, but whenever you as a person wants to try and connect with the natal Uranus in your chart, whenever you want to try and connect with looking at what it means for you and how does it operate in your consciousness, because it's all about consciousness, it's all about awareness, how does it operate? The first thing that we can do when we look at Uranus in our charts and within the way that it operates, as transit, is that it has an opposition to Leo. It has in the natural zodiac, Aquarius and Leo is a natural opposition axis. So they're both supporting each other. And this picture to me, this imagery, this drawing, this creative pulse is what Leo and Aquarius is all about. It really, really is. Because if you follow the thread, okay, right in the beginning, as in where the thread is actually meeting the point of no color, right? So the thread is leading the experience. The thread is illuminating the path. But just before that thread, just before the tip of that thread where it's all red, there isn't anything there, okay? That is this insatiable need for Aquarius to bring its vision into the collective. And this is how we're evolving. This is how we evolve through this experience, right? You can even look at this, the symmetry of this drawing over here, this animation, as one where we go through the cycles of the new and full moon. Okay, like if you follow me while we watch this, at this point in time right now. So let's say right now at that point, right, the 6 o'clock position, that's a new moon. And we go through the 2-week process, and right now is when we have a full moon, okay? And then again, the energy shoots off and it goes around the circle, and then it returns through a balsamic phase. In actual fact, I would actually go as far as to say, because it's Mercury retrograde right now, to do it the other way around. I would say, look how it gets consumed, balsamic phase, and then out of the blue, boom, there comes a new phase energy. And it pioneers a whole entire evolutionary direction. That's Uranus. Okay, in its relationship to Aquarius, amongst other archetypes, but this is to do with our ability to innovate, to break through the patterns, to lead with innovation. Okay? So with Uranus going retrograde at the moment, it invites us all to know that for the next sort of 5 months that Uranus will be retrograde, 5-6 months of Uranus retrograde, we're going to be not working as much outwardly in changing patterns, but actually going backwards around certain patterns that we have established and with insights that have occurred right now and what will occur for us on the new moon solar eclipse that's happening, again, like I said, on the 11th of August. Uranus will run with those ideas. Okay? So we will go inwardly within ourselves regarding our individuation process. We will see where there are parts of our lives and our reality that need to be broken free from. And we'll go through a cycle of individuating. We'll go through a cycle of understanding these things. And progressively, when we reach a point when Uranus goes direct, okay, we will make certain decisions and changes in our life that will change the pattern. Now, the context of this, of course, is that we're under a we're under a Leo and Aquarius nodal axis. In other words, that the framework, the conditioning field, the lens that we're seeing reality through is being influenced by the Leo and Aquarius axis, right? The nodes of the moon. So, of course, this has a lot to do with our creative, innovative behavior, right? How are we leading our lives into completely new directions? And for all of us right now, we're all experiencing that. We're all experiencing that. For me, in my personal journey at this point in time, there are a lot of changes taking place regarding my creative process. There are a lot of changes that are taking place in how I wish to nourish more of my own personal life and interaction with people. So there's a lot of changes that are in motion right now. And the beautiful thing about it is that we are under a Mars retrograde at the moment in Aquarius. So of course Uranus in Taurus, right, going to go retrograde, and then it connects to Mars retrograde in Aquarius. This is a really interesting dynamic because now we're dealing with the energy of Taurus as it interacts with the nodes of the moon. And we've been having this transit for quite some time. So the summary here is, how do we choose, or how are we liberating from patterns of thinking, patterns of behavior that bring us into deeper places of nourishment, deeper places of love, deeper places of unity and acceptance for ourselves, and what empowers us, of course, because Jupiter now is sitting in Scorpio, And not to go too far out for everybody at the moment, but how many of you, and I'd like to actually know this, by the way, so I would really like to hear if you're able to, after the video and you remember, and I'll remind you, to write in the comments below if you are aware of what planetary nodes are. And do you want to know about what planetary nodes are and how they operate within the collective consciousness? It's a really fascinating understanding when it comes to astrology, and I'm digressing here a little bit from the story, but it's very well connected because we just recently had a lunar eclipse land on the south nodes of Neptune, which is in Aquarius, right? The south node of Neptune. So think of the moon's nodes in astrology. Well, every single planet has a nodal axis as well, because every single planet is on an evolutionary path as well. So when you think of something like a planetary node, think of the context of that planet's evolutionary path and how that adds to a layer or a dimension of reality that we as human beings are on. So the point that I want to bring to us, that's close to us, is how much astrology do we explore in our day-to-day life that we get overwhelmed with, Like, for instance, oh, what's, the sun is transiting through this area over here, it's moving over my Mercury, what does that mean? Right? Think of the context of what we're exploring there, and think of the context of when adding in these other dimensions that opens us up to even deeper layers of understanding about what it means to explore consciousness. There is a wonderful lecture by Nassim Harem, who he talks about limitation. And this is a Capricorn Pisces thing at the moment occurring for us, right? And Scorpio as well. And I'll go deeper into this. And this is kind of turning out to be one of those little sharings that I hope that everybody finds value in at this point in time. And that is that when we explore deeper layers of ourselves, the real expansion occurs when we go inward. So he talks about how geometry is set up in a certain way, and I don't know the exact specific language that he's using because I watched the video, I think it was a couple of months ago, and just recently, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, I'd watched it, but not fully. I just reminded myself of the video, and it has to do with that expansion occurs with a boundary, and then expansion occurs within the boundary, and then expansion occurs within the boundary. So when you look at the human being, and you see that we have this physical body, and we look outwardly within ourselves, and we go, wow, I need to get to Australia, or I need to get to Singapore, I need to get to the States, and it takes forever to get there, right? This body is limiting. And yet when we turn inwardly within ourselves, expansion seems to be limitless. Expansion seems to be one of those things where the more deeper you go, the more you open yourself up to the expression of consciousness that's inside of you. So it's an inward process that this Uranus retrograde and Mars retrograde is really invoking at this point in time to explore, to go inwardly. And that's why I chose to specifically do this video today in this way, because I didn't want to have my face, I didn't want to have all the pictures, I didn't want you to be staring at me, and I want you to be staring at this diagram and how it is this pulsating energy field that is going around and around energetically, but it's pioneering deeper expressions, deeper understanding of your own fractal. So there's a core like thread that if you look very closely around the circle, that stream is it's got a core thread, but what is spiraling out of it, what is mutating out of it, is this beautiful collection of threads going in different directions. And that is when we pioneer a unique vision into the collective field, or when we follow our own destiny, when we follow our own creative path, when we follow what is uniquely here for us to observe relative to our own inner discovery, not the outer one, but the inner one, then what we actually find is not only that there is this path for us to walk that is cognitively correct for us, but it is also here to expand and awaken people that are following our trajectory, that are in our process. Just like I'm sharing with you right now, I'm all about the expression of deconditioning, finding an inner relationship to yourself, exploring that, nurturing that, awakening yourself deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper until it's so illuminated in you, and it can just keep on going. You just find more subtle layers of yourself, and you bring that and you integrate that into yourself, right? So this is what the body's for. The body's to integrate consciousness. So you have Neptune in Pisces trining Jupiter in Scorpio, and Pluto's in Capricorn, and it makes a sextile to both of these planets. And yeah, you have the limitation Saturn, the boundary Saturn, and you have the absolute dissolving of boundaries and the union with something that is unified, Neptune. And then Scorpio pushes the element of going deeper and deeper, just going deeper into the process. But as you go deeper into the process, you experience your creative potential. You experience the thing that is your unique vision. And so when we have this Mars retrograde occurring for us right now, and this Uranus about to go retrograde, squaring each other, and Mercury's retrograde at the moment as well, it's an invitation to see that a lot of the work that we're doing right now is inward. And it feels frustrating, and it feels like nothing's happening, and it feels like you're not getting anywhere with your life. And trust me, you are. It's just that it doesn't look like it's happening on the outside. And funnily enough, the whole point of this whole entire exercise is to actually awaken to deeper layers of your own self-awareness. I had one of those magical moments today where it was just interacting, and then all of a sudden there was just a realization. And in that moment, as I integrated that realization, I had such profound nourishment for my own experience. And we all seek to do that. We all seek to understand this within ourselves. But the secret lies in that creative force that's within ourselves. And so when we focus on that inner vibration, when we focus on that inner story, and we nurture and we cultivate and we bring it out into the world, not from the outside in, but from the inside out, the magic transforms. And so that's what this North Node is about. This North Node in Leo. It's about that activation of that inner process. Not of what do you look like on the outside, what do you see on the outside, what do you want to be on the outside. It's what is inside that matters. And the key here with the planetary nodes is that they bring to us these profound, subtle layers that ultimately are here for us to understand. Okay. So what I want to leave everybody today with in this little update, pre the solar eclipse that's happening for us, is we're looking to know that right now we might feel lost. We might feel like we've got a lot of anger, we've got a lot of frustration, we've got a lot of sort of like, when are things going to get, when is the timing going to be right? When am I going to get out of this space of this place that seems lost? And what I want to say is the other way around. This is the path to finding yourself. You're not lost. You see, this beautiful understanding about the Taurus archetype as it interacts with Pisces is that Taurus, the physical form, needs the attachment in order to feel secure. And right now, the attachment is not there because we've dissolved it. And in that moment of being dissolved, we are on a path to finding ourselves again. Our salvation is through being lost. Because it's outdated. What we were doing was outdated. It was no longer there. So give yourself some time. Wait until the end of this month, as Mars goes to direct, 27th of August. I would say wait until around about the 3rd or 4th of September to start watching how things begin to change for us. Okay? So that's what you want to contemplate right now as the awareness of this solar eclipse begins to come online. And just be patient with this energy right now, okay? All right, my friends, have a wonderful week, and I'll speak to you on a new moon live cast. Take care, everybody. Bye.